The charged shotgun is the most powerful gun to ever be released into Fortnite, and by the end of this video, you will agree with me. The information I'm about to share with you will change your entire mindset on how you play and understand the game. Throughout this video, I will open your eyes in a way that will revolutionize the way you look at every aspect of Fortnite. Because of this video, you will instantly notice improvement faster than you've ever seen before. Now, because I spend days giving you real high-quality videos that will actually make you improve, I ask one thing in return. Please use code EXALTED. Now, you will quickly figure out that the knowledge I give my subscribers is knowledge that you genuinely won't find anywhere else, and that is why they are subscribed. If you're actually serious about becoming the best Fortnite player you can possibly be, you've finally found yourself on the right side of the internet. My name is Exalted, and this is why the charged shotgun is the best gun to ever be released in Fortnite. Recently, my channel has been blowing up. The love and support from you guys has honestly been astounding. Because it's giving season, I want to give back to you guys, so I'm buying a free large mousepad from the mousepad company for one of my subscribers. Sadly, not a single person entered in my last $50 giveaway, so hopefully some of you guys will enter into this one. To win, simply follow them and I on Twitter and send me a picture of you using code EXALTED in the item shop. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Since the start of Season 5, everyone has once again been asking the age-old question, charge or attack? Now, since Fortnite is a game of adaptation where the first player to adapt wins, players have been quickly trying to get as much practice with both guns as possible. Everyone is racing to figure out which gun is the strongest in this new meta and which gun fits their own playstyles. In the midst of this meta-searching race, the Fortnite community has not held back when it comes to sharing their opinions. Between Twitter and YouTube comments, you will find everyone from pros to casuals and bots explaining why the charge or the tack is the best. Some of these players, through immense frustration, have even started to gain a cult-like following behind the hashtag #UnvaultThePump movement too. It's obviously that the stats of a gold or purple pump are tons better than any charge or any tack shotgun on paper, but that's not what matters. What makes the charge such an insane weapon isn't its stats on paper, but the value it gives off paper. The diverse mechanics of the weapon are like no other weapon released in Fortnite. It shows you a new way of thinking and understanding about the game. This gives you an advantage over your opponent. When you learn this new perspective, you can apply it to every other mechanic that Fortnite has to offer. It will adjust the efficiency of your building, timing, fighting, and everything in between. This weapon makes Fortnite a completely different game and helps you unlock a completely new mindset. When you have this understanding over your opponent, you will notice that the way you approach fights and execute them will drastically change, giving you an advantage like no other. I'm going to explain exactly how this weapon accomplishes all of this and why it stands out so much. By the end of this video, you will completely understand, but first I'm going to share something with you that will have a similar impact on changing the way you think and how important it is. I'm just doing this so you know I'm not crazy and wasting your time. The power of perspective and mindset is honestly insane, but new mindsets aren't logic. You can't just put two and two together to unlock a new mindset. The only way to obtain new perspectives is to just simply try new things, whether they make sense or not, and then learn from them. You can also learn from other players, which is why watching my videos and pros Twitch streams will always make you a better player. Next time you hop into a game of Fortnite and engage in a fight, no matter how high or low the stakes, no matter what part of the game you're in, instead of having the mindset of how do I kill this player or how do I end this fight as soon as possible, try this mindset. For your next fight, the only thing you should focus on is how do I take 0 damage. Not a small amount of damage or the least amount of damage, but literally 0 damage. What happens with that mindset after a few games will honestly blow your mind. This genuinely is the most powerful mindset in Fortnite. People forget the core of what a battle royale is. Winning a game or even killing the most players are not the goals you should be actively thinking about and trying to accomplish. If you're focused on that, you will never succeed. If you think about how do I take 0 damage and you get good at that, all the other things will come your way for free. If you're the last person alive, well, you'll win. It is inevitable that you will run into players that you need to fight. This isn't the goal you should initially have because it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. What's crazy is that with the right mindset, all the other victories will accidentally happen and happen easily. Once you have mastered the mindset of not taking damage, you will be extremely surprised as to what you can do next. You can now take the new mechanics and perspectives that you've learned and start to build and add new ones on top of it. Maybe next you want to learn how to do as much damage to an opponent while still taking 0 yourself. Now that you can perfectly win fights, maybe you want to work on how to rotate and how to find as many possible players to get higher kill games. What I'm about to tell you will change the way you fight in Fortnite. When you play with the mindset of how do I take 0 damage, your entire playstyle will completely change. You will begin to notice exactly what opponents are doing to get shots off on you, something that is often overlooked because of how distracted players are with the damage they are doing themselves. Half the time players die and are honestly surprised. They simply had no clue how much damage they had been taking. You will rapidly learn new techniques and fighting styles from your opponents and how to adapt to them or use them in your own gameplay for the next game. You will start to notice that in all of your fights. You'll be seeing it from yours and your opponent's angle. You'll be able to predict exactly what your opponent should do, and from here you can begin to rapidly notice the smallest mistakes of your opponent and capitalize on them to maximize your own damage while still taking none. Now there's one problem. Constantly thinking in your mind, take 0 damage, and doing different things than your muscle memory wants you to do is extremely hard. But that's where the charged shotgun comes in. It is the only weapon in the game that doesn't shoot instantly. This forces you to approach and handle every single fight completely differently. It forces you to pay attention to your opponent's decisions as opposed to just your own. In doing so, your fights become much more calculated. As opposed to simply just shooting opponents when they mess up, you have to predict when your opponents will mess up, then prepare to shoot them. Now this will drastically change the way you fight and will make you an instantly stronger player because whether you are using a tack or a pump, you now have the game sense required to predict players' actions before they even happen, as opposed to just reacting quicker than your opponent. This practically makes ping obsolete. When you can predict players, you give yourself time to make many more decisions. A perfect example of this type of game sense you will find in the player named Martoz. I'm sure there are many more, but this one stands out to me. Now this isn't the only reason the charge is good, this is honestly just the beginning. There's 2 more mechanics that the charge will force you to learn whether you notice it happening or not. It will force you to learn how to control your opponent when on offense and flawlessly predict and bait your opponent when on defense. Now this is great to learn no matter what. Once you have learned these things, you can use any weapon and thrive with it. When getting skilled at the charge, you're actually getting skilled at all the other weapons at the same time. Getting good with the tack will never ever make you good with the charge, but getting good with the charge will always make you better at the tack too. Now that might be interesting, but what's really interesting is why this is happening when using the charge, and why the charge is still a better weapon once you have learned these new fighting styles and perspectives. To play offensively with the charge, you need to be able to control your opponent and position yourself to safely use the delayed shot of the charge without taking any damage. The best way to accomplish this is through piece control. When you edit a window in your wall, it's up to you when you peek through that window. It's so convenient how piece control became so meta right when the charge came out. allowing you to safely charge the shotgun and shoot your opponent without them being able to defend is much stronger than you think it is. Most players are just used to shooting the instant they see an opening and hoping they are fast enough, which is just a really lazy way to fight, but we're all guilty of it. Now, when you're defending, because you've been reading and understanding what decisions players will make and when they will make them, you are able to predict when your opponents are going to go for shots. You can then surprise them with a fully charged shot. Now here's why the charge is better once you have learned all of these mechanics. When you adapt to this new playstyle, the shooting time of your gun really won't matter at all, simply the damage of it will. When using a charge, if you're in the position to charge it completely and get a shot off, you're always going to do more damage to your opponent than if you had a tack in your hand and weren't able to charge it up at all. The charge has a higher skill cap, which makes it more situational and allows you to predict and punish mistakes harder than any gun that has ever been released in Fortnite. The best advice I have when it comes to using it is to just practice. The forced mindset change will cause you to die a lot in the beginning, but will teach you so much so fast. Every time you die with the charge, you're learning a new thing about how your opponents play without even noticing it. Now, dying a lot will get really demotivating, but trust me when I say this, if you can bear through it, you will not regret it. Now, if you're still watching my video, you obviously enjoy it and you're probably feeling pretty motivated and excited because you've just unlocked a new perspective on how to play Fortnite and you are eager to test it out. Like I said earlier, all I ask for you in return is to like and subscribe with notifications and to use code EXALTED. If you want to learn about the charge versus tack and everything on paper, Jarian has a fantastic video on this topic that I highly recommend you watch.